honour to be here moderating the panel with both of Her Excellencies. So thank you both for being here today. As we look at the worldwide innovation ecosystem growth across the world, we see that there's a lot of competition. So today we're here to understand more about what's happening in the UAE and in Serbia and some of the policies and activities that are happening so that we can learn from that. So I'll start with you, Your Excellency. The UAE has made remarkable growth across innovation. So we'd love to hear more about how you have implemented various policies and leverages over the last few years to come to this point. And how do you manage entrepreneurship and regulation to encourage the entrepreneurs, but also keep those regulations so that it's an inviting environment for us?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Samantha. I think UAE, we create policies and we create agile policies that fit the purpose and needs of our entrepreneurs today. I always say we are the voice of entrepreneurs, and the agility we have is the agility we have to navigate around policies is quite easy and smooth, I would say. Maybe a prime example is once I started to be Minister of State of Entrepreneurship, we looked at two aspects. How can we hear the voice of entrepreneurs? First thing, we thought of youth. How can we engage youth to be the future generation of entrepreneurs? So we created the Youth Council for Entrepreneurship that present every emirate to understand what are the needs and policy regulations to work around that. Second one, we created the Emirates Entrepreneurship Committee that involves the federal and local entities to work around policy regulations and challenges that we face today. And I think the agility we have today is quite smooth, seeing the way we work with our leadership. And our main target is to reach the GDP we're looking for by 2031. Mm-hmm.
And we were talking backstage with some of other ministers that are back there from different countries around the world. It's a great green room back there. But we were talking about the UAE had the first minister for AI ever back in 2017. That was really a pioneering thing to do when people didn't really know what AI was. And now we're all talking about AI.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit more about future-looking policies that you're looking at for different sectors that you might be focused on here?
See, when we talk about AI and the agility we work around, today we've been pioneering on that aspect. We're targeting 14% GDP of 96 billion dirhams by 2030. Wow. And this is something I know we're sure we'll be able to achieve. Today, in the Standard University and AI Index, UAE scored 5th globally, which is how pioneering we are talking about our first minister of AI, when AI was just, what is AI? And it's just a talk. And today, everyone wants to be part of this AI or evolution of changes happening. And I think we always say the impossible is possible, and this is how UAE has demonstrated to the world.
Absolutely, and the minister and I were talking earlier about AI being a horizontal rather than a vertical now. I know that in Serbia, people may not know, but the biotech and AI around life sciences is really thriving and really becoming a hub for all of Europe and the world, especially with Bio4 the campus. I'd love to hear more about that, and if you can explain some of the initiatives that you're doing around that sector specifically, and why have you chosen that for your area?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I always say we live in quite disruptive and amazing times when it comes to the technology that are really becoming the shaping force of our societies. So yes, we recognize that as the government, sometimes you do have an advantage of being a smaller country. We're a country of 6.7 million people. You can run faster, and you can adapt more efficiently. So we did recognize the two technologies that are definitely becoming the strategical direction of the development of Serbia, but not only of Serbia. I think we can be the center of gravity for this. These are bio-related fields, and artificial intelligence, and merging between these two. We see that in quite near future, we will have completely new fields of application and the development when it comes to these technologies. So the government decided to focus on these two technologies, and we identified 4 big challenges that are global challenges, but also quite important challenges for our country, that goes to medicine, agriculture and food production, environment protection, and let's say industry as a whole. And we initiated the building and the development of Bio4 campus that comes from 4 bios, actually: biotechnology, biomedicine, bioinformatics with AI, and biodiversity, as 4 pillars of a large, quite large project, the largest investment in science in Southern Eastern Europe, I would say, around €500 million euros the government will invest in building the infrastructure that merges talent, so people with the infrastructure, with the state-of-the-art equipment, and puts together all the stakeholders, so the government, the entrepreneur startup ecosystem, the academia, both faculties, education, and research institutes, but also companies, so R&D centers of the companies in bio fields and AI fields related to bio. So we're not starting from the scratch. We're building around 160,000 square meters of lab space, specific space, business space, combination of that. And we already have 1,000 PhDs that will start working as soon as the infrastructure is finished. So we're not starting from the scratch when it comes to human talent. And also, what is important, we come from the region with a long history of quite strong STEM education. We still have like 50% of students deciding for the STEM for the building of their careers, so we want to keep them in the country, but we also want to bring together the broader region. So we see this as a future of Serbia to be a center of gravity in a broader region for biotech and AI, and something new that is going to emerge from this. So between 4,000 and 5,000 students, 1,000 PhDs, researchers, private sector, and the startup community, we see this as a good step forward for the development of our country.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing more about that. And I'll just stay with you for one more area. You are now, or Serbia are now the chair of the GPAI, so the Global Partnership for AI. What does that mean, and how do you marry the two with bio and AI, which are two of the most fast-moving for AI, bio very well regulated as it should be? How do you manage the two so that the entrepreneurship can thrive?
Well, these are really two disruptive technologies. Yeah. Somehow AI became a buzzword, so everyone is speaking about the AI. Nevertheless, bio is making huge steps, quite disruptive and amazing, particularly in the area of medicine. And Global Partnership for Artificial Intelligence was initiated by the Prime Minister Trudeau and President Macron in 2020. We as a country recognized at those times already that AI train is coming, the waves are coming. So we already introduced, for instance, coding and AI in our elementary school as obligatory subjects for the kids to prepare them for that. So the idea of this initiative, which gathered for the beginning 29 countries, but now we merged with the OECD, so we have 44 countries, is to focus on the development, on the implementation of, let's say, human-centric, safe artificial intelligence, and to try to put some regulatory, not too strict regulatory framework and ethical framework in order to at least monitor what is happening when when we are speaking about the AI. We don't know where the technology will, in which direction it will evolve. So it's quite difficult to, put stringent regulation on something that is still developing and it's quite unknown. So that is a challenge. Yeah. But we are trying to speak really broadly with the countries. We want to have on board more countries So this is the only way that we can, come to some kind of consensus where this technology should go and how we should regulate it.
Absolutely. It's a challenge across the world at Startup
Yes.
and we work with many ministries across 60 countries, and everyone is asking us about AI. Yeah. What do we do and how do we make sure that it helps and empowers our entrepreneurs? But Your Excellency, I'll come back to you. You launched Future 100 yesterday, which was fantastic. I'm a very proud Hub 71 member. I sit there with the Hub 71 team and work with some of the high growth companies there. But we can't talk about growth without talking about talent. And I know this is a huge area for you and the whole of the ministry. Can you talk a bit more about some of those initiatives that you've done to try and future-proof our economy here and make sure that we have enough talent for all of the growth that's happening here?
The UAE was able to attract a lot of talent to come here and set up startups in the UAE. I think the incentives that the government has worked on, providing the golden visas, the blue visas, the freelancing visas, and creating this ecosystem for entrepreneurs to thrive here. Sometimes it goes beyond incentives and how can we support these entrepreneurs. We think of programs we've been running for the past few years, and one of the successes we looked at is the Future 100, which was launched last year. And the aspect and thought we had in that, how can you create the new economy to the UAE? It is not about traditional trade. We are traders by birth, but how can we have this perspective of change rather than being traders? How can we be future entrepreneurs on the tech aspect, on the new economy, agri-tech, fintech, edutech, AI, and there's a lot happening in that area. The way we work around it is how can you create incentives to attract these companies to come set up in the UAE, be part of this program, and be part of the growth and success of the UAE. It's not only about their presence here, it's about building the economy and creating this ecosystem for entrepreneurs to thrive within the UAE.
And I think that many people across the world, I live here now, have said, wow, you've gone to the UAE. Why have you done that? I lived in Silicon Valley, in London, in Singapore, other places. And I said, this is where everything's happening.
And I've heard by Her Excellency when we're talking backstage that Serbian companies are now looking to move to the UAE because of the incentives we have here today.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And the youth talent here as well. There's a lot of activity around how do we make sure that the youth coming through are entrepreneurial, are technical talent as well. You have launched different initiatives around youth specifically. So as they're feeding into these entrepreneurs, scaling companies. Can you talk more about some of those initiatives?
I'd say one of the main initiatives we worked on is creating this youth council, being the voice of understanding what the requirements are and what they need today. I always say the youth is our future, and running several programs to support the youth is quite, would have a better impact on our economy today in the UAE. Do we hear from them, or do we be their voice, or do we work on regulation that would support the future economy of the UAE? These are things we're tackling and making sure there's alignment when working with youth.
Yeah. And it's in their DNA that they're all entrepreneurial, right?
This
is what you always say to me.
I always tell entrepreneurs, do what you think. I always find the gap and do what you think is right to fix this problem.
Right.
You cannot mimic whatever your friend is doing or your sister is doing. Be different in that aspect.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the leadership has done here, right, across the UAE.
Exactly.
And I think that we're always running out of time.
Yeah. Looking at the clock.
It's never long enough, is it? So I'd love us to finish with maybe 3 key messages from both of you. Maybe we'll start with you, Minister, and we'll end with you, Your Excellency. On what 3 key things would you like our audience to go away with today about what you're doing over in Serbia?
Well, actually, I mean, when it comes to technologies, I think there are no small and large countries. They're just countries that, are thinking strategically and have the vision. So Serbia is a not large market. Nevertheless, thanks to the vision of the government, we do have the access, thanks to the free trading, to more than 3 billion people market. So you can be small, but you have to run fast. You have to be ahead of everyone, 2 steps ahead of everyone. And we are trying to do that with AI and biotech. and with the investments that are investments for the future, not only for the country, but for the broader region. And then when you are a smaller country, sometimes, you know, when it comes to the policies and everything, you can do things faster. And this is why you can, again, run faster. So I think we all have to run faster. Mm-hmm. And we are kind of lagging behind these technologies with ethics, with legal, with policies. Nevertheless, we as Serbia are definitely seeing this as the only way forward.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Your Excellency.
I think main three messages I would give entrepreneurs wanting to be here in the UAE: innovate and be different. Find a point how you could do something differently within your business. Second thing is collaboration. I think collaboration brings out a better aspect rather than working solo. And it's not only about incentives, it's about belonging. And this is what the UAE is. This is our DNA. You come here, you live here, this is your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Take this opportunity and be part of our journey to thrive in our economy.
Absolutely. And on that note, as also someone who's relocated the life here, I feel like this is my home now, and everyone's been very welcoming. But thank you so much, both of you, for sharing some insights. And if anyone would like to talk to you afterwards, I'm sure your team will facilitate some of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.